Hi. The passion of my life has been to study entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. So I want to share the story of how this came about. I have also been an entrepreneur for a good part of my life, but this passion started much before that. As a 3-year-old baby boy, I saw my house filled with wiring harnesses. Because that was when, in the year 1965, my father started manufacturing assembling wiring harnesses at home, as even as he was working as a regional manager for marketing and services in Royal Enfield in Mumbai. So for 5 years, he was making wiring harness at home. The business he started in the name of Famous Auto Traders with my cousin brother Venkat as the key person there, looking after the day-to-day uh, business of buying and selling and all that. And after 5 years, in the year 1990, my father quit his job and came into this full time. Meanwhile, he made a good amount of money even in that part time business. And then in by 1973, he had moved this out of the house and found some partners. His brother, his friend, they started a company called Flexible Cable Industries, and then he got one more Gujarati partner by name Shah, starting a company called Flexible Wire Industries. But in the year 1975 or 76, all these collapsed. I don't know what went wrong. I was a small boy at that time, and everything collapsed. We had to sell the house, move to a rented place, and then my father had to close down in Mumbai and move to Hyderabad and start fresh there in Hyderabad. In those days, we used to get industrial sheds, small industrial sheds in GD Metla, Hyderabad, with a very small down payment, and then installments stretching over 10, 12 years. And so he moved it to Hyderabad. We had to shift from Mumbai to Hyderabad. That was a time when I was just completing my intermediate and going into engineering. And because of the move to Hyderabad, my education got disrupted. I took on part-time AMI and then also joined my father uh, as a uh, just as a hobby studying. And that's when in the year 1980 I started working with my father. I was also studying part time, but 2 years later I completely dropped out of the engineering and joined my father full time. So that was once he lost everything in business, and then he restarted, uh, and then he grew it into a good business again. He had a unit in Hyderabad, he had a unit in Mumbai. We used to make wiring harness for premier automobiles, and it grew well. But in the year 86, I think again he had a difference of opinion with his other partners, his brother and his friend, and he gave up the whole business to them and came out. Came out and started from scratch again. That's when we started the company called Srinisan's Cable in Hyderabad. He got a few investors and then started from scratch again. And this time we went to Maruti. We luckily got business from Maruti, and so this new company could also start growing. So during the span of my initial life, I saw three times the business completely either going bankrupt or going out of hand and restarting. So this Renaissance was started in 1986, and from there till 1997, we grew it really well. All my brothers joined with my father, and we had a factory in Hyderabad, factory in Chennai, 300 people working, several crores of turnover. But in the year 1997, things started going down. We closed down the Hyderabad factory, moved everything to Chennai, and finally in 1999, due to several reasons, the Korean economy collapsed. We had invested a lot of money in exporting to Korea, and then that Lancer car project didn't come up. We invested a lot of money into that, and then Maruti wanted to shift the business from us to multinational companies. A lot of multinational competitors came in. So reasons were several, but ultimately in the year 1999, the complete organization collapsed, closed down. We had to negotiate and settle down the union workers by paying them severance pay, and the company closed with a huge loss of 14 crores. And that my father got heart problems, and he collapsed, and finally he moved away to his native village. There he went and started a philanthropic institution to educate children, and he moved out of the industry. And I was saddled with all these debts. There was nothing there, and I had to move to Gurgaon and start a new venture there. So all through from my childhood until this time, when ultimately in the year 2000, when my father retired and went away, I became an entrepreneur myself. Until then, I was just working under my father, taking instructions from him. I did not have the responsibility of an entrepreneur. But studying my father, that was one of my key pastime. It was a natural thing. And not only my father, but all my father's friends, all the uncle, my uncle, and all the my father's friends, all the uncles who I used to see as I grew up, and a lot of employees who were working in with my father, they quit and they started their own ventures. So this study of entrepreneurs, how some people succeed, how some people fail, and what happens uh, from the inside. This has been a fascinating thing for me. And even after I started building my own business from scratch in Gurgaon and repaying such a huge debt, at the same time I used to mentor and help a lot of entrepreneurs to grow their own businesses. So I continued my passion of mentoring, coaching, and creating entrepreneurs all along my life. And so now I want to completely focus on that. I want to see that people are able to learn what I learned and have their life much more smoothly and easily. And so that is my passion. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.